Welcome back again to Joe Stunner Boxing. I hope you're doing well. Every once in a while, it seems I will make a video about the whole Conor Benn PED situation, and I'll say, oh, this is absolutely the last one, and then I feel inclined to sort of hit the record button again because I just hate the sort of narrative that's being spun here. If you hate PEDs, as I think any true boxing fan should, then you should really object to the fact that they are rife in the sport. You shouldn't throw the towel in like a gutless quitter and say, well, they're all doing it. Well, let them all get on with it. And no. I'm absolutely opposed to that. I hate PEDs, I hate drug cheats, and that's sort of non-negotiable. But the way that this is being spun by Benn's team and Eddie Hearn is so objectionable to me. I just feel inclined to sort of keep making videos about it, because this 270-page dossier of supposedly proving Benn's innocence, which does absolutely nothing of the sort. At least we don't know. We don't even know what's in it. We, being the public, myself included, obviously, I don't have any inside information. I'm not privy to anything. Look, this document clearly is a presentation of a case in defence of Conor Benn. No problem with that at all. No problem with that at all. And for all we know, it may give legitimate reasons as to why Benn twice failed a drug test. This, clomiphene, I don't even know what that is. I'd never heard of it before. Benn got popped for it. Okay, how did he get into his system? The fact of the matter is he twice failed tests. So essentially, let's look at this as being like a legal case. He's in the dock, okay? And the defence have just presented their case via this 270-page document. Again, I've got no problem with that. But that doesn't, you don't just say, well, here's the defence, and therefore he's innocent. Ta-da! No questions asked. No. What happens is, when the defence have presented their case, along comes the prosecution and says, well, actually, we've looked at that document and, okay, you've got your best scientists and doctors and, to put it together. But here are our scientists, here are our doctors, and we're saying X, Y, Z. In other words, the document is being peer reviewed. In other words, both sides of the defence and the prosecution, if you like, are looking at it and saying, hopefully via neutral experts, neutral scientists, not people who are employed by the defence or the prosecution, but people who have absolute objectivity and no horse in the race. And they're going to say, well, yay or nay. They're going to say, yep, legitimate stuff in that document, or no, actually, that's not accurate. You and I and... for all I know, most people in the medical profession, because of course there are many, many different disciplines in the medical profession, we're not going to be able to understand the science in that. But it hasn't proved anything. It hasn't proved anything because it hasn't been reviewed, because we don't even know what's in it. And the whole Benn thing has been an absolute PR disaster. I mean, God almighty. They're now talking about him fighting, I don't think this will come to fruition, but they're talking about him fighting Manny Pacquiao. I mean, this is dreadful stuff. What is Pacquiao, 44, 45, maybe even a little bit older? It's a disaster. It's an absolute disaster. I mean, Chris Eubank Jr. might have been chinned by Liam Smith, but he was actually correct when he said prior to that to Benn, the public perceives you as being guilty, rightly or wrongly, and you should just say sorry. You should just swallow it, and you don't have to. Well, you don't have to admit. You don't have to admit personal culpability, but you could say, well, it was in my system, and I apologise for that. Because another thing that gets overlooked is the amount of people in a team. Presumably you hire nutritionists to do their job and look at what's going into your body and look at what's banned and look at what isn't, and make sure that the stuff that's banned isn't in your body. They condition you to be a fighter who is clean, essentially clean. And Benn, on 2 occasions, wasn't. That's the bottom line. He wasn't clean. he may genuinely think, how the hell did that get there? I didn't know, you know. I'm not a chemist. I'm not, you know, I don't understand all this pharmacy stuff, you know. Now, when you talk about drugs cheats, there are obviously different degrees of cheating. You can argue that some people are more clever than others. So you wouldn't compare, say, a Benn situation where traces of this drug were found in his body to someone like Jerome Miller, who, you know, Mr. Walk-in pharmacist. Another one that was mentioned, frequently mentioned, is Larry Olibamiwo, the British heavyweight from 10 years or so ago, who was allowed to fight again despite having an absolute cocktail of drugs in his body. And I don't think he ever won a fight again, except one against AJ Carter, where he won on disqualification, I think. The rest of the fights he had post ban, he lost, a lot of them by knockout. And Miller, if you've seen him now that he's off all the drugs, he just looks like a fat bag of blubber, which is essentially what he is. He should be banned for life, Miller. Olibamiwo should have been banned for life, but he turned stool pigeon and pointed a few fingers in the directions of unscrupulous individuals who lost their licenses. A Benn situation, or maybe let's say a Dillian White many years ago when Dillian served a year, or was it 2 years, ban? That's different to an out-and-out absolute cheat who's sticking needles in himself. But having said that, have you ever met someone who says, yeah, do you know what, I'm guilty? No, they're all innocent. They're all, I don't know how it got there. I'm innocent, and this happened, and I don't know how it happened. It's like you go into a prison. You never find a guilty man in a prison. I used to go into prisons, do drug and alcohol work. They're all innocent. Oh, no, I don't know. It wasn't me. No. Oh, for fuck's sake. Please, just hold your hands up and admit that you're wrong. Now, again, Benn may not fall into that category, but he failed 2 drug tests. That's the bottom line. And someone wasn't doing their job because they allowed that substance into his system. So all this, I guess I've said before in previous videos, all this 270-page document crap doesn't mean anything. You know, it only means something if it's presented to the public and where objective scientists who understand this stuff, who have no horse in the race, can look at it and say yay or nay. It's legitimate or it isn't. And as for the WBC, Benn seems to have gone, he handed back his British Boxing Board of Control licence. He went down the WBC route. The WBC is not it's a sanctioning body, but it doesn't dish out licences. It's not like the Nevada State Athletic Commission. It's not like the British Boxing Board of Control. It's a ruling body. It picks up sanction fees, it hands out belts, appoints judges if they're members of the organisation, although judges may be members of other organisations as well. But it's not an arbiter of licences. It has to abide by the rules that say if it does go at Nevada, the Nevada State Athletic Commission, or goes to New York, the New York Commission, they're the ones that are the governors, that are the bosses. And also, Mauricio Suleiman recently in an interview said, I'm very close to the Benn family. Nigel Benn, of course, held the WBC super middleweight title for many years, was a brilliant champion. And Mauricio said, I think it's terrible. I'm close to the Benns. So he's not the most objective of people anyway. And even if, let's say the WBC did ban Benn, who cares? So what? It's the IBF, the WBO, WBC, the IBF, WBO, WBA. You can go down those routes. All this emphasis on the WBC, it's not really relevant. That dossier should be presented to the board. Benn should not have thrown in his licence. That was a very bad look. And things as they stand, and I could be wrong about this, but as they stand, it looks very grim for Conor Benn in terms of progressing with his career, in terms of there's a big cloud above him still, regardless of what Eddie Hearn says, all the little spin he does, all the, little bobbing and weaving, all the little nudge, nudge, wink, winking, you know, all that crap. You know, push Hearn aside. Just look at this dossier. Make it public. Allow people to see what's in it. Is it legitimate or not? And then we'll take it from there. But it looks pretty grim for Conor Benn as far as I'm concerned. And I don't say that with any great, you know, joy. I mean, especially when you consider his, you know, his career, the way he sort of went on from leaps and bounds, suddenly became a big puncher at fringe world level. The opposition wasn't great, but he was being brought along quite well, I thought, for a young fighter. You know, Chris Van Heerden's, Chris Algieri, and Sammy Vargas. I mean, these weren't elite, top echelon fighters, but they were good learning fights for Ben. All that's gone now. All that's gone. Fighting Manny Pacquiao. I mean, Jesus Christ, what a rubbish. So yeah, this is going to be the last video I do on this subject. You wait, probably won't be. Anyway, give us your thoughts below if you've got any. Like the video, that helps us out, and hit subscribe if you're new. Appreciate your time as always. Bye for now.